Good about those. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. We are getting ready to install the Plex audio. You guys can see that I've already customized it a little bit, so just to kind of match the color of the Sportster. So in this one, it's a little bizarre. All right, the Roadster has inverted forks, so the fork clamps or the triple trees are different. The positioning of where the bolts go, they're recessed. It's not a flat surface, so I'm planning on using these spacers to kind of move the Plex audio a little bit, enough so it sits flat on these points, because of right now it's just not flat. You have the triple tree, it dips out, and then the actual clamping area, like, it's not even it's just a little bizarre. I'll show you guys once we get out there, but like I said, I'm planning on using these spacers to move that bolting area or the mounting area a little bit. So it's going to be like this, and then of course we're going to have the washer underneath of this. So this little spacer should allow me to install the clamp flat, all right, or install the Plex audio flat, because like I said, it is recessed. I hope this is, you know, enough room to kind of I'm talking about the outer diameter. I'm not sure. I believe it's enough room to kind of clear where it recessed, where the clamping area recesses in. It's recessed. So let's go ahead and remove the fairing, and let's see if we can get this installed. All right, so we went ahead and removed the fairing. There it is. It's a quick disconnect. This is where I was mentioning the clamping, or the triple tree is recessed. You can see how it just dips down. It's just, I mean, it's just the way Harley designed the Roadster. So obviously I have these tapered spacers here. This is what allows me to install these risers, because you can, you know, see from this angle where, you know, the riser sticks out of this area, and you can see that I've tried tightening the risers without this tapered spacer, and you can see that where it kind of cuts into the clamp, the fork clamp. You see right there, there's a scratch. So I was trying to clamp down on the risers. So if you have a Roadster and you're trying to install risers on your Roadster, you need a tapered riser, kind of like this. So, and it's the same issue with the bottom of the clamp. It's the same issue. You can see how you see this little lip. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's a little lip right here that prevents me from installing the Plex audio properly. So like I said, we're gonna remove this bolt, pull it out, and then we're gonna put those spacers in there to just to kind of, like I said, buy us enough room so we have a nice flat surface where we could comfortably tighten the riser bolt without it being uneven or leveled or so, or whatever you want to call it. All right, so let's get to work. Alright, so we added the spacer, so we don't have to, of course, move washers around, because the opening on the Plex audio, you can see it's an open, so you could just slide that in there. So you would have to hold the spacer upward and then the washer downwards, and then slide the Plex audio, and then you'll clamp it down. So let's see what happens. Let's put that back in there. We can see how many threads are actually you know, grabbing by the look of it right there. So we have, what is that, maybe about 2 inches. In case you were wondering, hey, do I have to extend my bolts? It just depends on what you have. So we can see that there should be enough room right there. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tighten it so my risers don't move. So I have extenders, and then of course I have the tapered spacer as well. So You know, if you do this loose, like I mean if you do them both at the same time, your risers are going to fall in your tank. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten up this bolt just to make it easier, because it's just me. I don't have an extra pair of hands. But if you had an extra pair of hands, you could have, you know, you could probably hold your risers in place while you do the other one. But since I don't have anybody to help me out, I'm just gonna tighten this up and make sure it doesn't move, because when I was installing these riser extenders, yeah, this thing was difficult, because you got to line up all these holes. And then of course, you know, the weight of what I have on my handlebars, you guys can see I have the dyno jet, I have the sound bar. All of that stuff was kind of falling over onto my fuel tank. So I'm just gonna make sure this is nice and tight, and then I'm gonna move over to the other side. That way, you know, like I said, I don't have to worry about balancing everything at the same time. And it looks like I'm gonna have enough clearance right here. You can see that this piece of the fork clamp, yeah, it looks like I just bought myself enough room, because it looks like I'll still be able to slide the Plex audio right in there. So we'll see, you know, what happens. We'll just see if it fits, because this, you can see how it kind of there's a contour here on the fork clamp. You can see how this is flat, but you see the spacing is just not the same. So I believe I got myself just enough room right there to put the Plex audio. You can see as well that, like I said, the clamping area is just different. The diameter is different from the washer. Even the washer kind of sticks out a little bit. You know, it sticks out about a good amount, about 1/4 inch. So the outer diameter of these spacers is just right. So let's make sure this is nice and tight, so we're not dropping the risers on my fuel tank. So let's work on the other side now. All right, so we pulled it out. Here is, of course, the spacer, the washer, and then the lock washer. Is that what this is called? Not too sure, but this helps with the vibration to prevent the bolt from, you know, vibrating out. So let's go ahead and put that in there. You can see it's a long bolt. So these are from Home Depot. I bought this at Home Depot, so I believe it's 10 inches. Like I said, I have, all of this is like 16 3/4 with the risers, the extended risers, and the bar itself. So let's see if we can get this in there. I have a bunch of mess here. I have all the wires. Tight fit, but yeah, it's in there. Alright, so we're just gonna put this in there, and then we're gonna loosen the other side, and then we're gonna try to juggle the handlebars and everything at the same time. So like I said, if you were to do this, you know, if you have my setup, I mean, that's the issue. If you have my setup, the tapered spacers, the extended risers, and the risers itself, it would have been extremely difficult for you to juggle all of these components while, you know, trying to put this bolt in. So like I said, this is the reason why I went ahead and I tightened that side, just to kind of keep all these parts together. Because I mean, as soon as these parts come loose and you don't have any of this installed, it is difficult to juggle all of these parts and thread, because you gotta line up these bolts. So that's the reason why we went ahead and just tightened it. And then we're going to make sure this is righty-tighty, clockwise, counterclockwise is loosening. And then we're just gonna drive this in there until we have enough room for just the riser. You can see right here how close it is. So like I said, it looks like we're just barely, I mean, we're gonna have just enough room for the Plex audio to go in there. So I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna fit with the fairing, the light, and everything. We'll just see what happens. All right, so stay tuned to see if this actually works. All right, so we went ahead and installed the Plex audio. I'm holding it with my thumb because it's not fully installed. There seems to be a little bit of a clearance issue with, once again, the fork clamp. So it's bumping right here, and it's jamming up against the other side too as well. So minor little issue. I don't think it's going to be a big problem, only because, like I said, the wires themselves, I mean, if I push the Plex audio even a little bit more, you can see my cables are going to be getting pinched. So because I was thinking, hey, maybe I could probably trim this with a grinder so I could slide it a little bit further in, but like I said, because of my cables, I mean, they're practically touching. You know, it's just barely. I think if I put this in even a little bit more, it's going to be cutting into my wires. So I think I'm just gonna install it like this, and then we'll hook it up and see if it turns on, and we'll see if there's enough clearance between the Plex audio and the fairing.
A few moments later.
All right, so we tried installing the fairing. The Plex audio just sits a little bit too high, so the fairing kind of sits on top of the Plex audio, and it doesn't let the mounting location attach. So what that means is we'll have to get another spacer, so something a little bit thicker, to push the Plex audio system down further down. So like I said, right now it sits just too high. I'd probably say we could try maybe a 1/2 inch spacer, that way it moves it down another 1/4 inch, or maybe I could just be on the safe side and just move it half an inch, because I still have plenty of room here. There's still plenty of room here. It's just like I said, the Plex audio, this bracket's not meant for this bike, like I said. So maybe if I were to move it maybe another 1/2 inch, I might buy myself enough room to latch the fairing. That way this sits a little bit further down. So that's just another trip to Home Depot, or I'll probably just order it online, maybe see if I could probably get these spacers to come in tomorrow, and then you know, remove all of this again, remove the risers and pull all this stuff out, and then replace that spacer that's in there with maybe a 3/4 inch.
A few moments later.
All right, so after a lot of wrestling, we got the Plex audio in there. So you can see down over here, I've added about 3/4 of spacers. So 3/4 spacer down over here, just to move the Plex audio down, so I could get enough you know, room to sit the fairing. You guys can see there's not a lot of room. Right, we're talking about 1/8 of an inch, you know, right over here. So it might be rubbing once it's on, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a really tight fitting. Like I said, the bracket's not meant for this bike, the fairing is not meant for this bike, but I think it looks you know, decent. I think it looks all right. So we have that. I ended up moving the fairing, the mount right over here. I ended up moving it forward just so I could buy myself a little bit more space. I still ordered the spacers. I ordered a 3/4 spacer, so if I do decide to I ordered an inch spacer as well, so I ordered both. So we'll see what happens. If I install the 1 inch, this will move a 1/4 inch down more, and maybe it'll fit a little bit better. But as of right now, there's enough clearance, plenty of room for, you know, to turn the Plex audio on and off. Not a big deal. But I think if I get the 1 inch spacer, it's gonna fit just right. So this is a quick detach. You guys can see, you know, it's quick detach, but man, this thing is a pain to put on and to take off. This light's really huge. All right, the light's huge. Not a lot of room for you to put the fairing in there and then latch it properly because of the size of the light. You can see that it's touching the inner what is this called, the inner fairing. I'm not sure what Memphis Shades calls this, but it's touching the top of it. I'm considering trimming it down just a little bit more. I already trimmed it about 1 inch. You can see, and I haven't cleaned it up. You can see it right here. I don't know if it's good, the camera's gonna pick it up, but yeah, I trimmed it. But just taking it off and taking it, you know, putting it back on, it is a hassle. Yeah, there's the bike with the LP6, the Plex audio. A lot of goodies on this one. You guys are wondering how I wired it. I have it in another video how I wired all this mess, but you can see this is the Plex audio cable, and it runs along my relays for my LP6. So all of this is easy fuse taped. You can see it right behind the vent line. This one right here, I'm not sure the camera picks it up, but this is my Plex audio wire, and that runs obviously down into my recently dropped side cover. I was riding at night last night, and I heard a loud thud and a rattle, and you know, it's just, I knew exactly what it was as soon as it happened, because I mean these are notorious for them to kind of fall out. So I think I'm gonna put zip ties here instead of having this sort of deal. So yeah, I mean they shake. I hit a good bump, and it just, I think I was riding with it like this, loose on the left side, and as soon as, oh, this is also, is this supposed to be like that? And then I think it was just a little bump, and that's all it took, and this one popped out and my side cover went flying. So yeah, we connected to the battery terminal, the positive. Look at my videos. I have the ground bolted onto a bolt right underneath the seat. I'll show you guys that in a picture-in-picture how that's installed, and that's pretty much it. It's an easy install. So hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'm gonna keep on finishing this build out, of course, because the paint doesn't match what we have back here. I'm currently working on the saddlebags. The rear fender's already done. I gotta swap that out, but slowly but surely this thing's getting done. Right, you guys stay out there, stay safe. Later.